We're going live. Hello and welcome back to another Monday at 12:30. I don't know where these weeks go. This is mad. Right, so today going to be giving you some fantastic tips, some of my top tips for increasing your followers on various social media channels. As we all know, it's quite difficult at the moment to increase your followers on social media. 5 years ago, it was dead easy. 5 years ago, it was dead easy. Now it's a little bit more tricky to increase your followers. There are so many people on social media now, so many businesses on social media, that what worked 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even last year, doesn't necessarily work now, today, this week. So I'm going to be giving you some good top tips. And as always, if you are watching live, please give me a wave, say hello, join in the chat, share your experiences, and let me know how you find increasing your followers. Oh, hi, Amanda. Nice to see you. Nice to see you back on our Monday sessions. So, yes. So, how do we increase our followers? Well, do you know what? If you've got a larger business and you've got, say 2,000 followers on Twitter, 2,000 followers on Facebook, you will generally, as long as you're posting decent content, you will gradually see that increase happen. But let's face it, not a lot of us, certainly not a lot of people that watch my live streams on a Monday, have over 2,000 followers in their Facebook streams. Therefore, it's a little bit more difficult. You've got to be a little bit more creative. Obviously, one way would be to pay for your social media advertising to get more followers. That's one way, but we don't always have a budget. And you know me, I always focus on the free, the organic reach first. Get that right, then we can look at advertising to increase your following. Biggest mistake people make, go straight to advertising, but they don't understand their customer. So my first question, which is always my first question to my clients, is why do you need more followers? That's a question. Because if you look at my social media pages, my Twitter, my Facebook, for example, I don't have that many followers. Crikey, I'm a social media expert and she doesn't have that many followers. And there's a reason for this. I don't have that many followers because my followers are highly targeted. I get an awful lot of business. So I have, I think, about 450 followers on my Facebook page and I think just over 300 on my Twitter. So it's not too bad. I've been going about 18 months. But I'm not focused on building a following of mad loads of people that are not my ideal client. So I get an awful lot of business through my LinkedIn. I have more on my LinkedIn. I have about 5,500 because that's my target area where I get a lot of business from. My Facebook, I have about 450. And again, I get a lot of business through that. Twitter, I have about 300. But I don't necessarily get any business from that. I think I've only got 1 or 2 business inquiries through Twitter, but that's not what I use Twitter for. So the first question is, why do you need more followers? And I know what most people are going to say, because we need more business. And that is absolutely the right answer. But what type of business do you need? And who exactly is going to make that decision to buy? Because there's no point running a random competition to try and attract more followers randomly just to get numbers on your page to make you look good if they are not your ideal customer. Like any social media platform, if you go for loads and loads of followers, some of them may only be following you to win a competition or that sort of thing, or just interested in following you. They may never ever buy from you. And those aren't the type of followers that you want. The followers you want need to be highly targeted, who you know you can help, who you know your products and services will assist and make their life better. So it is much better to have a much smaller number of followers that in your target market. Because as we know, social media, when you put a post on social media, there's only a small fraction of your followers, doesn't matter whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, that a small proportion of your followers will see that post initially. And if that post is successful and engaging and people like it, then the social media platforms will share it to more of your followers. So the risk that you have is that if you have loads of followers that aren't necessarily your ideal market, then they are going to, the social media platforms will share that post to some of your followers that are never going to buy from you, that are never going to engage. So what happens is that post, that content's been wasted to the wrong people. The right people may never even see that content. So it's really important. Think quality, not quantity. Do not ever, ever, ever buy followers for your social media. That is the biggest mistake you can ever do. People buy followers, which are robots, and then to make themselves look good, look popular. I can spot a mile off when people have bought followers on their social media platforms because they have all these followers and loads of content with no likes, no engagement, and they certainly don't get any business inquiries because robots don't buy from us. So the quick question is, why do you need more followers? Because we want them to buy our stuff. Then who do we need that will buy our stuff? Yeah, it's got to be the right ones. So we need to understand exactly who our target audience is before we even think about those followers. So how do we do it? So I'm going to give you some of my top tips that I use in order to gain the right followers. And similar sort of methods work across some of the platforms. Different platforms work a little differently. So if we start with LinkedIn, then I'm a service industry. I provide services for businesses. So LinkedIn, little bit more, little easier on LinkedIn. Do a search on LinkedIn for my ideal customer, knowing what their job title is, whereabouts they're located. And I'll just go onto LinkedIn and do a search for people that are located, say, in Warrington with this job description. And then I will look through and connect with second connections. So I don't necessarily know these people, but I'm connecting with them. And generally, about probably I would say 60% of people will connect with me. Then all of a sudden, I've got all these extra followers because as soon as you're a connection, you automatically follow that person on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a little easier to do that. Facebook, a bit harder. In fact, Facebook is probably one of the hardest at the moment to increase your followers if you're not paying for advertising. And the way you can get the biggest way, if you just launch your Facebook page, is one, invite your friends, invite all of them, because your friends might not be interested, but they might have friends of friends that are interested. So initially, you're not being targeted about your ideal client. You're just getting people that you know to follow your page. And as long as you're posting content that's interesting, they're also going to like it to help boost that content. So to begin with, just invite your friends and family. And then once you've done that, hopefully, depending on how many friends you've got on Facebook, you should get maybe 100 followers, which will start you off nicely. And then what you need to do is just start joining groups. So start joining groups on Facebook as your business. You can now, since Easter, now join groups on Facebook as your business, which is fantastic. So you join groups on Facebook as your business, but you post engaging content. You don't spam them. The biggest mistake people make on Facebook is going onto groups and spamming them. I've got this for sale. I've got that for sale. I've got this for sale. You don't do that. It just doesn't work. You need to warm them up slightly. It's a bit like dating. To warm them up slightly, put some value, some content into those groups. Don't try and sell them anything, particularly not to begin with. Offer them advice, offer them tips, offer them. Remember, these are groups where your potential clients are hanging out in. So offer them some value, some advice, or something interesting or funny or entertaining. And then if they then engage with your post, you then got the option to invite them to your page. So it takes a little bit more time, but by doing it that way, you can then start growing your page with your followers. Amanda said as well on the chat, she says, a common thing for me on Twitter is someone follow me. They can then retract this when I follow back. They obviously think, I'm just going to click more. They obviously think that having more followers than following looks good. Very poor practice. Interesting that, Amanda, actually. That was another thing I was going to talk to you. That's what I'm just moving on to. You're absolutely right. It is a common practice. People follow people on Twitter to try and get more followers. A lot of people on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, very, very similar. Little tip for you. What you need to do is figure out where your potential clients are hanging out, who they are likely to be following on Twitter, who they're likely to be following on Instagram, who they're likely to be following on Pinterest, and finding out where your potential clients are going to be following, which brands. So you pop onto those brands, and you can find out not only how many followers those brands have got, but who those followers are. So you go on and you look, it'll give you a whole list of who their followers are. And if you can get in the right brand, they're potentially your customers as well. So then what you do is you go down and follow their followers. So like you were saying, Amanda, you follow their followers. It's just a marketing tool, really, because everyone gets a little notification. Go, oh, lovely! I've been followed by this this company. That's brilliant. We'll follow them back. So all of a sudden, you're beginning to build up a plethora of followers that are relevant to your market. Now, then, what people do is they then go back and then unfollow you, because let's face it, we don't want our news feed clogged up with just random stuff that's not really relevant to us. So yes, that's why you will find your followers on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest, they do waver slightly. They go up and down because people do follow them. Now, a big caution and a big warning with this is do not go down and go follow. You will get banned. You will be identified as a spammer. Just go in and just follow a few and then come back out and then go back in the next day and follow a few more. And you will then begin to build up your following in the right target market. So interesting, Amanda. I don't know what you think about that, but that is why you will get followers that follow you and unfollow you. Yes, but bit of a sneaky way of doing it, but it does work. So the other way to do it as well is on any social media platform, hang out where your potential customers are and comment on popular content. So if there's popular content with lots of people commenting, then add value to that conversation. Add value to that conversation, and you will be seen as an influencer in your field. And that's what it's about. You need to be showing yourselves. You guys know what you're talking about. So show people that you can engage and add value to a conversation that is related to your field. So any platform, join groups, join conversations, look into similar brands, and just join the conversation. Social media is about being sociable. And that's why it's really important not to just launch on hundreds of social media platforms. Choose one initially and do it well and spend a lot of time on it. and you will be rewarded. Try and launch on 4 all at the same time. It's too much like hard work. So, you've got to think about which is going to give you the better return on investment. Okay. And then finally, there's just a few tips. There's lots of other ways you can do it, but those are some of my top tips. But finally, the thing that's most important is when you have got few followers is post content that your potential customers will like, will engage with, will comment on, will share. Yeah. There's no point posting content and nobody responds. You've really got to get in the heads of your potential customer and post engaging content. And once you've done that, once you've post engaging content, the minute they start commenting on it, liking on it, whatever platform you're on, all of a sudden that social media platform is going to recommend that post, your content, your page to other people that are beyond your followers. So again, it's a multi-pronged approach is growing your social media followers to begin with. It's getting the right content, it's getting the right strategy, it's joining the right groups, it's understanding where your customers hang out, and just being sociable. So there's no quick win. Social media is a long haul. If you're growing your followers by a few a week, brilliant, as long as they're the right followers. And if you know your followers as well, perfect. Make sure your customers are following you, because if you're giving them a good customer service, they'll like and engage and hopefully help grow your following as well. So you don't want to be just getting new followers. You also want your existing customer base to follow you as well. So those are just some top tips that I use for increasing social media. Please let me know. Please let me know if you've got any other top tips that you've used recently. I know 3 Pugs Gin, for example. Christine, she's done a post inviting people to invite their friends to follow her page. And she just did one post and she got over 6,000 followers from one post. Again, so it does work quite phenomenally if you know what you're doing and you understand your customer. Now, she had a large following to begin with. She had about over 3,000 followers anyway. But still, that was a phenomenal. Just by simply asking a favour to say, oh, if you love our page, please invite your friends and family to follow us. This is how you do it. So again, there are loads of little tips and tricks you can do. But the main thing is you've got to have engaging content and trial it. Test what works and what doesn't. And if you're constantly getting no engagement on your content, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about posting any content like that again, because it's a waste. Only ever duplicate, replicate, and mold content that's working to repost. Okay? We want active. So that's how to build your following. Slow and steady wins. Please do share with me your tips and tricks or problems, and I'll if you're watching this post live, then I'm happy to share any my experiences, any advice. So that's it for this Monday. Again, if you're watching live, if you've got any questions or comments, type them now, because I'm going to sign off in a minute. Now, next week's tips and tricks, I am going to be talking about, should I pay for social media advertising? A question I get asked a lot of times is, should I pay for social media advertising? So I'm going to be talking about that next week, what you need to consider before you even start to advertise. There's a lot of money wasted in advertising, particularly on Facebook, so you need to get it right. So that's what I'm going to talk about next week. I hope to see you there, same time, 12:30. Come and grab a sandwich. And again, any comments, please, if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe. This is a new channel, so I do need to grow my followers a little bit more. So yeah, please, if you're not following on me already, please follow me, because that's how you grow. You ask people to follow you. So we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you for watching and have a great week. Bye. Bye, guys.